Hello and welcome to Flutzes and Waxels, a figure skating podcast to satisfy all of your skating news, analysis, and recap needs. I'm Mary Margaret Mertzos.
And I'm Alicia Mertzos, and we're sisters with a lifelong love for figure skating, practicing, watching, and discussing. So let's delve deep into what's happened in the skating world this week.
So this past week was the final competition of the season. It's
I'm
hard
crying.
to believe that it's actually over. And the World Team Trophy is a bit of a weird competition, and it's going to be a bit weird to talk about because there's the individual disciplines competition, and then there's the country competition. We're going to attempt a new way of discussing it. We'll see whether it works out or not.
This might be a disaster. This is our first time doing a team event
in this way.
In its entirety in one episode.
Yeah.
The Olympics, we did 3 episodes.
Yeah, one for each day.
Which was a lot easier than this is going to be.
Yeah. Overall, we've discussed before that it's a for fun competition.
Yeah.
Probably should not, lead to ISU sanctioned personal best scores. The scoring's always a little bit ridiculous.
So let's just ignore all of the world record scores that were set because they're ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody knows going in that, it's just a fun competition.
The officials were wearing masks.
Yeah.
Can we really trust them to see what's actually going on with those masks on?
I mean, believe me, I am all for this kind of a competition, which is fun and gives a lot of money to the skaters themselves. I am in no way opposed to this idea. This title of World Team Trophy, honestly, what I think they should do, because they've been doing this every 2 years for a while now, keep doing this. Don't have, just do it, the team event at the Olympics, and then say next year, every 2 years, you do the Olympic team event.
Yes.
As that way. Maybe with no substitutes, just to make it a little more fair. But just because, again, this is not actually reflective of which country has the most depth across disciplines.
Yeah.
And we all know that. It's always hosted by Japan. They want a chance to win. Again, I'm not mad about that.
No.
It's more just it's not actually reflective of what the title of World Team Trophy implies.
Yeah, I have nothing against Team Japan and the Japanese officials for wanting a chance to win this event that they host every year and put tons of money into. But if we're going to call it the World Team Trophy, we can't have a silver medalist who was last in pairs and dance in all 4 programs.
Yeah. And again, that's just keep it. But I do think that I enjoy the Olympic team event. I think it's interesting and would be a good way to help develop, for example, if we take Team Japan, if every 2 years, there was a serious world championship event where, you have to have depth in all 4 disciplines in order to win a medal, that might encourage, the buildup of especially things like pairs in other countries, even other countries that, might be a little bit lower on, say, the top 10 countries in the world. That might help some of those teams stick around if you know that at the very least every 2 years I can do a team event, at a bare minimum.
And the same thing goes for China developing their dancing ladies, which are struggling a little bit right now. They're doing that anyway because of that Olympic team event that they're seeing in front of them going, okay, we need to prep. But why not do that constantly so that you're never settling for, it's fine, we're going to win 2 disciplines and everything else will be fine.
Yeah, I do think that the team event is a good idea and could really help build up your depth in the less cared about disciplines, but doing it in this format does not achieve that particular goal. I think this competition has different goals. And like I said, that's okay. But I do think it would be nice, especially since the team event is an Olympic competition and it literally happens once every 4 years.
Yeah, it needs to happen more often, even if it's not every single year, to have it be something that we actually consider more than once every 4 years.
And, start to care about. Because as of right now, the team event is sort of a throwaway. Oh, it's a nice extra medal. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Patrick Chan is an Olympic gold medalist.
Yes.
But it's in the team event. So is how that goes every single time.
Yeah.
No, he's an Olympic gold medalist. Chill.
Like we can start to build up the seriousness of the event, but I think having it literally only every 4 years does not help with that.
No.
And I think I understand not wanting to do like an Olympic style team event literally every year.
It
but
would
again,
be expensive and time consuming, but
you do it every 4 years, sort of opposite the Olympics. So you have the Olympics one year, and then the next year you have World Team Trophy, and then the next year you have a team event on its own, and then World Team Trophy again, and then we're back to the Olympics.
Yeah.
I think that's a more interesting way of setting it out, and I really do think would be kind of more exciting because, again, the way things are stacked up, you sort of know going in
who's probably going to win.
Yeah, and especially if you get rid of the substitute rule, which in the team event at the Olympics I was never a big fan of anyway. You know, somebody could have a disaster and then
wild cards.
Exactly. It to me makes it more exciting, and I really do think would help, especially the pairs, which needs a little bit of help right now.
And the thing is, right now, this is a perfect way to talk about pairs, being that so Japan didn't do super well in pairs and dance, and so they were last in pairs and dance, and they were still silver medalists.
Yep.
So why would they continue to develop it much beyond what they've got if we can still be silver medalists anyway? In contrast, the second Japanese man, free skate, also got 7 points. He was dead in the middle. Why is dead in the middle of the pack worth the same amount in men and ladies as last place, literally last place, in pairs and dance?
And that's what lost the silver medal for Team Russia when Samarin had a rough go of it in the short program. He only got 1 point, as opposed to, I don't want to pick on Miura and Ichihashi because it's, this is kind of their senior debut.
Yeah.
But they had a really rough short program. They still got 7 points out of it.
Yeah, I have nothing against any of the skaters on Team Japan who got that silver medal. They all went out and did their best. But if we're being honest, last place in pairs and dance should still only get you 1 point.
Yeah. At the very least, and again, they won't do it because they want the chance for Team Japan to win. But really, it should just be in the pairs and dance. Fine, you only want to have one pair team, one dance team. Well, then first place gets 12 points. Second place gets 10 points, and so on down to 2 points. That at least would balance it out a teeny bit.
It would still be unfair for countries like the US, Russia, and Canada. And honestly, most of all for France.
Yeah.
Because France won the dance and was 1-2 in the pairs.
Yep.
And they struggled a bit with their second choice for men and ladies. And that's why they were off the podium.
Yep.
Not fair to France. Still mad about it.
And again, it's all well and fine as long as everybody understands that coming in. But I do think sometimes, and again, this is more general sports media, not focused on figure skating, but I remember, going into the Olympic team event and everybody saying, oh, and Team US won the World Team Trophy the last time it was held. Like, yeah, but that's not the same thing, though.
It's really not the same thing at all. Really, we should have an additional category before the total points for team spirit.
Yes.
That's how we make this more fair.
Just 1 bonus point for the best team spirit, and maybe get the teams to vote, and you can't vote for yourself. You have to vote for...
I want it ranked. I want 6 points.
Yeah.
As your max, between 1 and 6 points for level of team spirit.
Because, why not?
Because we have to make this even more ridiculous than it already is if we're going to continue in this way. It's ridiculous, but it is not ridiculous enough for me yet.
I mean, for me, it's a fine level of ridiculousness. And it's fun to see them, having fun in the kiss and cry. But, again, it's kind of weird to talk about because it is just, even for me watching, just going, it's kind of a silly competition. And
that's
some
why
people...
we need to make it more silly so that we can make it clear that the points don't matter.
Because... Just about the money.
Yeah. Which, great. Every other athlete in the world makes so much more money than skaters. They need this money. But we need to make it more ridiculous if that's the point of this competition.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the actual teams.
Yes.
So we're going to do it team by team, discipline by discipline, and we'll see how that works out. But
Yeah.
Team US won this competition, in large part on the strength of the men. And they were definitely, favorites coming in because they are really pretty solid across all disciplines, and they lucked out a little bit in that their weakest discipline pairs, as we mentioned, you still get a decent amount of points from.
And they weren't going to be last.
Exactly.
They were going to beat Japan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the guys, though, from the U.S. showed up
Totally
more
delivered.
than I expected, honestly.
I wasn't really sure what to expect from Nathan, since we had heard that he was going to water down the technical content a little bit, which I think was a smart thing. He didn't need to pull out all the stops here.
No.
And really close to clean skates anyway, just his very last triple axel attempt of the season going wrong.
Because,
he
of
had
course,
to have one.
Yeah, you know what? If it had to happen, World Team Trophy is the place for it to go wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
He was first, got those 12 points. Everything's fine.
And even if for some reason it cost him first, Vincent still would have been first. They still would have gotten 11 and 12 points. It was going to be fine.
Yeah, for him, this was a bit of a victory lap, I think. And I was very amused at how frustrated he was by the step out on the triple axel. But, he's a perfectionist, and that is a good thing to see. It was good to see these programs one last time and to see them basically clean as well. It's always more enjoyable, especially for, as we mentioned, at a fun competition, I don't want to see people falling all over the place. With one maybe tiny little exception we'll get to when we talk about Team Japan, but
this is the time to throw that one ridiculous element you've got in your back pocket out on the ice, or go clean. I want nothing in between.
Yeah, one or the other, nothing in the middle.
Yes. And Nathan basically did the latter. He went basically clean. If you had told me a year ago that he would have had one axel step out all season, I would have been thrilled. So I'm okay with one axel step out.
Yeah. Obviously, this just caps off his season super well, and same for Vincent Zhou as well. Honestly, the biggest thing for me at this competition was, I think that being on the podium at Worlds and having some pretty solid competitions, I think has really helped his confidence.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of this season, and especially after Skate America, where he really got dinged on the under rotations, he looked cautious coming in. Whereas here, there were still some jump elements that they weren't called, but I felt they were at the very least borderline under rotated.
Spoiler alert, they basically didn't call anything.
Yeah. Again, the
points don't matter.
But for me, it was good to see that he looked confident in what he was doing, and
that confidence translated into a stronger performance.
Yeah, I was about to say, especially for me in the short program, this was the first that I really sort of felt like I got what he was going for with that short program.
Yeah, it took a really long time to get there, but he did get there. Now we just need to maintain the rotation that we've got, get a little bit better, and continue to come into next season with this kind of attitude. Because...
and I think as well, working with Mia Hamada will help him on sort of the PCS side of things.
Yep.
Obviously, working on your rotation of quads is an ongoing, lengthy process that you can't fix overnight. But I think it's good that he's not solely focused on that they are sending him to work with other, coaches and choreographers to help develop all aspects of his skating, because even if you get an under rotation on your quad lutz, if you have everything else there to back it up, it's not such a big problem.
Yeah, and the other benefit of sending him to her is she is another set of eyes, and she might, sometimes all it takes is that one little thing to make the tiniest tweak to your technique that fixes the problem.
Or some new coach to say, oh, have you tried doing it this way?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes.
Have you tried this little teeny tiny change in your setup that's gonna, give you that tiny bit of extra height that you need, or it's gonna help you snap into rotation faster? Also, I'm a fan of everybody working with her. She seems like the perfect coach. Her skaters seem disciplined, healthy, and happy.
Also, supportive, well, not, ignoring problems. At least, again, that's my impression. I don't know her personally, obviously.
Based on what her skaters do out on the ice, she seems to be saying, no, there's a problem, you gotta fix it. Mm-hmm. But in competition, it's like, you did what you could. Good job. Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what I think everybody needs out of a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was a really... Japan does wonders for Vincent Zhou. I think that has been clear. And I'm very intrigued now to see what it'll look like next season. He kind of started off on a really rough footing when, U.S. International Classic was a bit of a disaster and Skate America was an issue. Yeah. But he's come back well from it. And again, I think the confidence will help going forward.
Yeah, hopefully he can maintain the confidence going into next season, and if he does, everything should be okay.
Mm-hmm. And then if we move on to the U.S. ladies, they as well really delivered here. I mean, Mariah Bell had the one fall in the free skate, but other than that, both of them had basically clean skates.
Yeah, they both went out and did these programs about as well as they're capable of right now. Mm-hmm. And, Brady got her personal best score up over 150 in the free skate.
Yeah.
That is huge.
That's a big number, yeah. And really, I felt both of them just skated as well as we've seen them skate all season. And I think for both of them as well, it'll be a confidence builder.
Yeah, particularly after... for Brady, the weird up and down relationship she's had with figure skating media over the last year and a half. It's a weird love-hate relationship, but she can go out and do what she needs to do, and as long as she is aware of that, hopefully we can tune out the media nonsense and not worry about that anymore. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think just leaving out the Lutz loop was a good strategy, but I think, absolutely work on it on the off season and see, because we did see some really strong ones from her, and
it's almost there.
Yeah.
I think it did need one more season before she was ready to throw it in. So we'll see. This might have been too much of a hit to her confidence for it to come back this season, but I think within the next couple of seasons, we'll probably see it coming back.
Yeah. Really for both of the U.S. ladies, even though they might not have won, as dramatically as the U.S. men did, they looked absolutely solid and pretty confident. And that's, ending your season on a high note.
Yeah.
And with some confidence going into next year, especially since, neither of them are the reigning national champion. And so I'm sure that'll be a bit of a drive for them.
Next season is going to be interesting in the U.S. ladies, but they've set themselves up about as well as they could have for next season.
Mm-hmm. Well, and same for Kane and Leduc if we move on to pairs. They had two just really solid skates. And this second half of their season, it's kind of miraculous how well they've come back after that crazy...
competition that shall not be named.
Yeah. They, as well, are kind of setting themselves up to be the top U.S. team next season, and obviously at least they got back 2 spots for Worlds. It won't be easy to hang on to the U.S. title, but I think that especially their last I guess 4 competitions have shown this is what we're capable of, and we're capable of being pretty consistent throughout.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the problems that they've had, barring that one stupid competition,
the one giant one.
The only real issue they've had is some intermittent issues with the side-by-side jumps.
But and they are attempting more difficult ones than a lot of other people, too.
They're doing the loops, which sometimes go a little bit awry in the short program, but seem to be pretty solid in the free for the most part. And then that combo sometimes goes a little rocky. But compared to what we see a lot of times from the U.S. pairs, it's about as good as you're going to get from U.S. pairs right now. So, and everything else is really pretty strong.
Yeah, the only thing I'm sure they're going to work on the off season is a little bit of confidence in the lifts. Obviously, that was an issue, and need to build up the confidence in there. But it's not as if they're at a deficit there. They just could be stronger, and that would help, I think, with their confidence as well, not having to worry about repeating past issues.
And the other thing that I think we need to talk more about with these two is their twist. Mm-hmm. How did their twist get so good in like one season? We know how.
Moser.
We know how. It was Nina Moser. But the fact that she is like very tall for a pair girl, and while he is also very tall, that doesn't actually help that much with the twist. It helps with other things, him being so tall, but it's kind of a miracle that they can do a really good triple twist.
Mm-hmm. And it has been getting steadily better this season. I think that them working with Nina Moser has helped them a whole lot.
In a few different ways.
Yeah.
Because they're now also training with some Russian teams, which is a nice little kick. Like, yeah, you've got the U.S. teams to worry about, but this is who you're up against when you go to Worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a really great wrapper to the season for them as well. The only, ironically, maybe little bit of a disappointment here was in the dance.
Yeah.
Not that they skated badly, Hubble and Donahue, but losing out to Sinitsyn and Katsalapov in both programs, I'm sure, was a bit of a disappointment for them.
Yeah, I mean, the second half of their season has not been as good as the first half and not as good as I think they expected.
Yeah, I think honestly for me, it's all in that free skate. Mm-hmm. They have been making lots of changes to it. The more time you spend trying to change things up and figure out new choreography and music is time you're not spending finessing and perfecting. And I think, honestly, that was the biggest thing that hurt them in the second half of this season.
There was one other major problem.
Well, yes.
Guess what? If you've been listening all season, you know exactly what I'm about to complain about. That Tango Romantica.
Yeah.
That is the difference between them and Sinitsyn and Katsalapov in the rhythm dance.
Yeah.
Sinitsyn and Katsalapov get at least a level 3 on each half every time they go out. Usually they're getting level 4s. Mm-hmm. Hubble and Donahue, on the other hand, are looking at about a 2.5 average.
Yeah. And it's a bit weird, too, because it's not as if they're a really young team who's never done these programs. I mean, they've been competing for a while. They've had to do, these patterns. It's a bit odd to me. This season, unfortunately, I think they were maybe a little too confident going in after, a silver medal at Worlds last year and sort of thinking, okay, well, we can just focus more on sort of the artistic side of things and worry less about the levels. And in their defense, the differentiation points-wise between levels is not what it should be.
Yeah.
But if everybody's skating at a high level and you lose a level, that can make the difference, and it did for them.
When the judges are happy to give out +4s, +5s, and 9s and 10s for everything, sorry, but you don't have the wiggle room. There's a big difference between being one of the teams that's, fighting for top 10 and really selling the performance and being a team that's fighting for a podium spot at Worlds.
It's crowded up there.
It's way too crowded. You have to have the performance and the levels. You cannot skip one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit of a letdown for me, their performances this season, because I think they have just so much potential and are a great, great team, but the programs let them down a little bit. And I really want them to come out guns blazing next season.
I'm going to be honest, I'm really glad this was the last time we're seeing that Romeo and Juliet program.
Yeah, it makes me sad to say. We talked about, when we went to see it at Skate Canada, we so badly wanted to love it, but it just never came together.
And every time they change it, I keep trying to like the changes. Yeah. And I don't. I don't know what else to say beyond, please pick something more interesting.
Well, or just that you are passionate about. Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me was I never felt their investment in the free skate especially as much.
Yeah, this was a misstep.
Yeah.
Let's not repeat this next year and everything will be okay.
Call it a wrap, move on, you know, come out with a great idea for next year. And that brings us on to our second place finishers, Team Japan.
More than 10 points back.
But, pretty close with third place.
Yeah.
And obviously did very well in the singles events, just behind the US basically in the men. And as we mentioned before, Shoma Uno desperately wanted that redemption from Worlds. And
I can't believe this kid.
mm-hmm.
I've been waiting for him to do this forever, and he hasn't. He did this combination, which if you have somehow missed what happened, he did the triple axel quad toe combination in the second half.
Well, and after 2 quad flips, 1 in combination, and, you know, a quad sow ahead of that, we saw him, you know, the videos of him attempting it in the practice, and I got excited thinking, okay,
we're going to open with that.
Well, and if you remember that Team Challenge Cup or whatever it was called from a few years ago, where he just came out with a quad flip and, you know, surprised everybody.
This is his thing. He pulls out random new quads at team events at the end of the season. And so I saw the video. But here's the thing. He did it at like a practice or a gala practice or something at World Team Trophy like 3 years ago.
I think it was 4 continents a few years ago. Whichever it was. We've seen video of him do it before. So he can land it. But I don't know. Obviously, he can't land it in the second half of a free skate with 3 quads previous. Why he didn't put it in the place of at least the triple loop in the first half. Just when I first was watching the skate live, I was watching it after the fact, but I hadn't looked at what happened and just thought, oh, I guess he's not going to do it then when it didn't come in the first 3 jumping passes.
Because we know the layout of this program. We know that there are 3 at the beginning, some other stuff, and then 4 at the end, and then he finishes the program. I never expected him to go for it in the second half of the program.
Well, and that's the thing. When he went for it, I just thought there's no way that this can go successfully. And it's a shame because, again, we saw him land it in
practice. Was still around.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was.
That quad toe was still completely backwards. I saw some people commenting on the rotation of that.
Well, the pre-rotationists have their thing about Shoma Uno, but...
It was fully backwards, guys. Like, it wasn't even like an 1/8 of a rotation. It was dead backwards. He just hit the side of his boot because he wasn't straight up and down.
Yeah,
This kid is insane.
He really is, especially since, like, I was worried about injury in the short program, too, and he had gone back to his old short program, which is great. I really enjoy the program, but he was having a tough time of it, and... putting in the free skate 2 quad flips and the triple axel quad toe. I don't quite understand the strategy of it, but just the
strategy I think was whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just try and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, if there was ever a time to do it, it's the World Team Trophy.
Absolutely.
That's the time that you do it. So for next season, I'm assuming we're planning this combination first. Please tell me.
At the very least second, if you're going to go for quad flip triple toe first.
Yeah, quad flip triple toe. Maybe a nice easy jumping pass in the middle if you want to do that triple loop second to catch your breath. And then the triple axel quad toe. No later than 3rd element in this program.
Yeah, this is not Yuri on Ice where you throw in a Hail Mary quad in your last jumping pass. That's not real life. I don't know if you know this. At the end of the
program.
Exactly.
When the music is already kind of over, throwing in a Hail Mary quad at the end. No, Shoma, stop watching the anime. No, your life is not anime. Oh my!
It does make me excited though that now that he's attempted it, that we will see him.
I really hope
put it in, because again, he can do it and has been working on it for years. So if your body can handle it, just first half,
please, for the love of everything, put it in the first half.
Yeah. So that was a bit of excitement, at least. Again, it entertained me. It kept my attention. That's for sure.
Exactly. And then Keegan did a quad axel attempt in the gala practice.
Because why not?
This is what happens at the World Team Trophy. We do ridiculous things. And my mind is still reeling from the fact that Shoma actually did that in competition in the second half. This kid Please take care of yourself.
Yeah, that is
Don't
the other
break
thing.
yourself.
Take a little bit of a vacation, heal up, and then sure, show us a first half triple axel
Yes.
quad toe next
I
year.
will be very happy to see it in the first half next season.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we should mention as well Keiji Tanaka, who has had a really great recovery in the second half of his season. And putting in a quad toe as well in the free skate, which is big for him, especially after, unfortunately, popping the quad sow, which he started with. But other than that, he had a couple of really solid skates here.
Yeah.
And, we will get to Russia and their unfortunate short program woes, but he could have lost the silver medal for Japan had things gone poorly.
Yeah.
And he really delivered here.
Yeah, a big part of what was going to happen for Team Japan came down to their second choice for the men. Mm-hmm. Because we knew what was going to happen in pairs and dance.
Yeah.
We knew Shoma was a pretty solid bet for doing well. How well, who knew? Mm-hmm. Same thing with both of the ladies.
Yeah.
And it really came down to, are we going to medal or not? Are we going to be second, third, sixth? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. And it came down to a good chunk of that being Keiji Tanaka, who went out and did his job.
Yeah.
7 and 9 points.
Yeah, he started off the season really rough. So to see him come back this way, I think is, a confidence building for him, I'm sure, and hopefully help secure, some international assignments, maybe get back on that national podium, depending on whatever Daisuke Takahashi is up to. I have no idea.
Who knows what Daisuke is going to do. But, be in contention for the national podium for next year.
Mm-hmm. And then the ladies, obviously, the short program was a bit of redemption for Rika Kihira.
Yes.
It was a real shame that I had a moment of thinking, is she going to, utterly decimate the world record score?
Yeah.
Because if she had been clean in the free skate, she would have. But
yeah, she would have decimated it with the way that the judging happened here. Yeah. But that was a rough free skate for her.
I mean, really, it was the two falls. Everything else was pretty solid, but especially after the fall on the combination, it took a little bit of the wind out of her sails, I think.
That was a rough fall.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, we need to have a conversation with judge number 1 for a second here. I get that this is World Team Trophy and the numbers don't matter. But of all the falls to give a -3, you picked Rika Kihira's horrific looking splat. Because it was a splat. Like, it looked painful.
It wasn't a step out that you kind of stumble over yourself and maybe your knee goes down.
It wasn't one of those, I've landed the jump and the back of my free leg hits the ice and I went down.
Or a Keegan Messing, I sat down and bounced back up and did another jump on the end of it.
It was none of those things. This was a hard fall and you gave it a -3. We need to have a chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed for her.
Yeah.
Obviously, the strength of the rest of her jumps was enough that it wasn't a total disaster. But again, she could have had some real redemption and decimated world record scores had she been fully clean here.
I mean, with 2 falls and 2 rough falls, she was still 5th.
Yep.
And with a really big score still of 138.
Yeah.
Like, that's still a big score, especially with 2 falls. She's ridiculous. She definitely needs new boots, though, based on the amount of duct tape around her boots this weekend.
Yeah, that was another small quibble, but if no one has white boot tape, and I assume no one did, can we at least get her some over the boot tights instead of the
This
silver
is the
duct
time when you're allowed to wear over the boot tights, even the over the ankle tights.
Yep.
I don't care which ones.
It makes me nervous seeing your feet wrapped with silver duct tape.
Yeah, Nathan gets away with the duct tape because it's black.
Well, and she even tapes her boots a lot of the time, but at least it's white, and so you're not faced with,
yeah, which is why I was
on?
very concerned, because chances are they went with the duct tape because the boots are actually like falling apart.
Yeah.
So please go get new boots. I'm pretty sure you're with Jackson. Jackson will make you custom boots that will not fall apart in 3 minutes. If they can do it for Nathan, they can do it for you. Please promise me you're going to get new, hopefully
also,
custom boots.
/ have a plan in mind for next season of figuring out, okay, when do I go get new boots in the middle of the season? Because you will need new boots in the middle of the season.
Break into pairs right now.
Yeah.
That's the strategy. Break into pairs this summer so that you can just switch and you only need like a week to switch boots.
Yeah.
Oh, this girl stresses me out with her boots. It's like
just wait till the quads come and we'll see how long the boots last then.
The boots are going to last 30 seconds, which is why we need a plan and custom boots.
That is something I don't know enough about the specification of boot manufacturing, but I do wonder if, because, you know, there are so many men doing quads, if maybe men's figure skating boots have evolved more quickly than the women's have.
They
because
probably
they don't
have.
need that strength in them. Again, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if that plays a part.
I'm fairly sure that she is a Jackson boot wearer. And you know how I can tell? Because her boots look normal. And Jackson seems to be like the only boot manufacturer. Harlick does them too. Harlick and Jackson are the only ones that seem to make normal boots anymore. So I'm pretty sure she's a Jackson girl. If Jackson can make boots that can withstand Nathan Chen's ridiculousness, they can make you the same pair.
Yeah.
And they will withstand your ridiculousness.
Yep.
So please get custom boots.
I mean, I'm sure they're there anyway, but maybe it's time to sort of look at the strength of and look at, you know, men's boots for the amount of quads and triple axles.
Everybody will complain that they're black, but it's worth it.
I think they look chic.
Yeah.
I was sad when
Nazarova got rid of her black boots. Yes.
I blanked on a name for a moment, but yes, I rather liked them.
I really liked the black boots. I missed the tan boots too. So yeah, go for some black boots or some custom white ones. I don't really just have boots that aren't going to fall apart.
Yeah. We should move on.
Yes.
And we also had Kaori Sakamoto, who overall had a pretty strong competition here. She definitely salvaged the free skate that she's had some trouble with it in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if nerves were getting to her a little bit. She's made some silly mistakes, and again, not really here. She was able to salvage it a little bit after the opening flip and Lutz didn't go so well. You know, it didn't turn into a disaster, but she seemed to be skating a little bit more nervously than we've seen from her in the past.
Yeah, I was a little concerned when she went out and did that opening triple flip because there wasn't actually anything really wrong with it. She just didn't sell the landing, and so the combination was going to be impossible. It was
she
just
seemed
a
to
weird
me to be rushing a little bit into it, and that's why I think maybe like nervous excitement.
Yeah, so I think this is a good time to start over with a new free skate. Let the bad memories of this one that she's clearly got go away. But I mean, these were really good skates from her, and
and I mean the fact that, you know, she was third in the free skate wasn't so much that she had a bad skate, but just that there were some really great skates.
Yeah. There were some exceptional skates in the ladies and in that free skate.
And in the short program as well. I mean, the only reason she was in third was because she didn't have a triple axel.
Yeah. That's really what it came down to in that short program. Who's got a triple axel and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So she's definitely on track to be right up there with all of the other ladies who don't have quads.
Which, well, yet. She might well be working on them. I'm not certain.
I'm sure she's working on them.
Yeah.
How close they are, who knows? I'm sure she's working on them. She knows the Armageddon is coming. She knows what's coming. They all do.
Yeah.
So, but she's right up in there. As long as she can do this every time with everybody else who doesn't have a triple axel or quads.
Yep. And then moving on to pairs, as we mentioned before, we had Miura and Ichihashi sort of making their senior debut here.
Yeah.
Suzaki and Kihara have retired, and so they are now, I believe, the only Japanese pair team, as far as I know, unless there's some novices or juniors that
I really hope so, because I'm pretty sure it was just them. those two teams
Yeah.
at nationals this year.
Well, and I mean, that's a lot of pressure, especially
Yeah.
being their senior debut. And I think the nerves really got to them in the short
Yeah.
program. It was a stronger free skate, which was good to see. But I think for these two, they could get a, host spot at NHK next year if they wanted it. But I really think that these two are a team who need another season of juniors.
Yeah.
And they did pretty well in the Junior Grand Prix. They were alternates for the junior final this year.
They're just not ready to be
that's
senior
the thing.
pairs.
They're young, and there is lots of stuff that needs to be worked on. And I think, honestly, one of those things is competition nerves.
Yeah. They, as much as the free skate went better, it was still mostly negative GOE. They're still doing a lot of elements that they're not super comfortable with. They're still learning how to do the triple twist. They're still getting comfortable doing the group, the level 4 lifts. And so they're not confident enough to sell them if something goes slightly wrong. You can see as soon as, something goes a little bit funny.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is when you're skating at home and, your team is relying on you. It's, you're not even just skating for yourself.
Yeah.
You're skating for your team at a giant venue. It's very different from, somewhere in Eastern Europe where there's 30 people in the audience, where, again, they skated and they did rather well for themselves
But nobody was watching.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's something you have to get used to. And I do hope that they stick it out. But I do definitely think for them another junior season would be, or even just, Junior Grand Prix, and may as well go to Senior Worlds if you can.
They'll get to go to Senior Worlds as long as they get the technical minimums. They might as well split the season. I'm sure Japan would appreciate them splitting the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not really senior ready yet. This was a nice way to dip their toe in.
Yeah.
Because they should have known. I really hope somebody reminded them coming in, it's okay. Whoever we sent was going to be last.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's sad to say, but unfortunately,
the strength of pairs in all of these other countries is
it's too
so
high
fantastic that it was like, it's fine. You're probably going to be last. Don't worry. It didn't matter who we sent. They were probably going to be last. Just go out there and see what happens. We'll be fine.
Get the experience.
Yeah, and clearly Japan didn't need them to do better than last.
Yeah,
which should have, I hope, taken some of the edge off of that.
Yeah. And then in ice dance, we had Komatsubara and Coletto, who, even though they were last, it's not that they're a bad team by any means. It's just that, again, the strength in the other countries is so high.
Which is my point about pairs.
Yeah.
Like, these two are a pretty solid dance team, and they were going to be last.
Yeah. Unless somebody had a total disaster, they were going to be last.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
They're still really good. Tango Romantica needs a lot of work, but other than that, they're still really good.
Well, and they've had some struggles with the RD all season long, and being able to hang on and skate it pretty well here at Worlds, I think is a good thing. The free dance feels much more comfortable for them for sure. And again, they just missed out qualifying for the free dance at Worlds, and they're definitely in contention next season, I think, for a spot in the free dance. And for them, they didn't get a whole lot of international competition experience last year, and I think that has definitely helped. But, you just got to keep working at it and keep pushing. And
I hope you've already started working on the fin step.
Yes, exactly.
Because the fin step is also very hard.
Yeah. Well, they only have to do 30 steps of it or
33 or something?
Something like that.
Up to the toe dance.
Yeah.
Which is the fact that they don't have to do the toe dance. I'm going to be angry about that forever.
Part.
I know. It's the iconic part of the fin step. I'm still mad about it. But at least they only have to learn the first half.
Yeah, overall, a pretty good outing for Team Japan. And then in third place was Team Russia.
Most of Team Russia did very well here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the men have been the weak point for Team Russia this season. And it really just they're volatile in a lot of ways and a bit inconsistent. although if we start with Andrei Lazukin as a last-minute replacement here and at Worlds, he really showed that, maybe have him in consideration for your World and European teams next season, because he has been very solid. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not been perfect, and he's not been amazing. But honestly, right now, Russia, what you need is consistent.
Just solid.
Yeah.
Consistent, doesn't make too many mistakes. That's a good place to be in Russian men's skating right now.
Probably only going to make a mistake on one of his quad toes.
Yeah.
That is a good place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, he was a last-minute replacement at both competitions, and, he was top 10 and the middle ranking guy at Worlds, and, the top finishing guy here at World Team Trophy. That's a good spot for him to be in. Because I'm sure the expectation on him going in was just, to hang on.
Yeah.
And help out. And he did more than his share of helping out.
He did. He is honestly the reason that they managed to get onto the podium, and the reason they're as close to Japan, who, as we've discussed ad nauseum, has the upper hand here.
Yeah.
Because, they don't have the consistent men in Russia, and there's 2 of them to worry about. So there's 4 sets of points that you can really mess things up with, as we saw Russia do. Oops.
Yeah, that was a really tough short program for Alexander Samarin. I imagine he was just, again, this is the kind of competition where I understand the inclination to just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, trying the quad flip again. And obviously 2 falls in the short program
and no combo.
Yeah, is not going to do much to help you here.
No.
And getting only 1 point as opposed to 7 is disastrous and cost them the silver.
Yep. Those 6 points would have been more than enough. Just those 6.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand the inclination, but if you're going to throw the quad flip into the short program, you do a triple for your combination.
Yeah. Just triple lets, triple toe.
Yeah.
I do wonder, though, he didn't try the quad Lutz, which he has been doing all season. Maybe he was having an issue with the Lutz technique or something.
But then do a triple flip. You can do a triple flip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Triple flip, triple toe.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd choice. He came back well in the free skate, but that's 2 competitions in a row now where he's had a really rough short program and had to make it up in the free skate. It's too bad after Europeans, where he did really well for himself there, but like I said, the consistency, I think, is the main thing missing for the Russian men right now.
He especially needs to tone down the quads and just get the ones that you've got consistent instead of throwing in new ones.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better option for him for sure. The ladies, though, did very well. The return of Elizaveta Tuktumisheva. I was really glad to see her after, obviously, she just missed out on a world spot, and showing why... Well, it's hard to say who should have been sent, but showing that you could have sent her, and she would have absolutely been in podium contention.
And showing why they needed to send her here. Yeah. Because she had 2 lights out performances.
Yeah. And honestly, in terms of the jumps, I think this is the strongest her jumps have looked all season, and never mind all season, in a good while.
Yeah.
Maybe since 2015.
I was going to say since that time. She was incredible in 2015. Yeah. Like, this is the best that she's been in an Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
And we just need to figure out how to shift this by 1 year.
Well, or just how to hang on a few more seasons. It's so tough for the Russian ladies because there are just so many of them. And it would have been very easy for her to have not even been sent here if, Zagitova and Medvedeva had said they wanted to go. But I'm really glad she got the opportunity and was able to win the free skate segment.
And really win that free skate.
Yeah.
That was an incredible performance for her. Her first time up over 150 in the free skate. I mean, yes, there are lots of things for her to work on, particularly in the performance side, but you cannot deny the quality of the jumps this weekend.
Well, and honestly, for me, I was just glad to see her back.
Yeah.
And again, this competition, the scores don't really matter.
No.
It's who had, the most technically proficient skate. She takes it for sure.
Yeah. In that free skate, she took it and ran.
Well, and was very close in the short program, too. It was only that she did triple toe that really had her behind.
It's that short program combination, which she does quite well, but I would not be surprised to see her doing a more difficult combination next season.
Yeah.
Particularly with Armageddon coming.
Yeah. And Samadurova also did really well for herself. Ironically, with the first mistake, in a way, of her short program this season. I could not believe that she was able to tack a triple toe on the end of the triple loop in the second half.
That is the only successful triple loop, triple toe we have seen from the ladies all season.
Yeah. I do wonder, it looked a little bit borderline the toe to me, but again,
we didn't call anything.
Yeah, we're not calling anything at this competition. And, just her focus of mind to be able to put it in there.
Yeah, I cannot believe this kid. She is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and I was glad to see her get this opportunity too, because again, it's going to be tough next season. It's going to be really tough, but at least, she has this season to look back on.
Yeah.
It's been a really fantastic season, and I just hope that she can continue that.
Yeah, she really hasn't had any bad skates this season.
Yeah.
She's had varying degrees of good, and they haven't all been perfect, but nothing bad all season, which tends to be the Russian way.
That's a good track record, and she will need that to continue, unfortunately, next year.
Now that the season is officially over, I am already stressed about the Russian juniors moving up, and
well, even just senior Grand Prix assignments. There are going to be multiple amazing senior ladies who will have only one senior Grand Prix. Prepare yourselves, because it's going to happen.
Think about how many are not going to make the final.
All of them, basically.
All of them, yes. I am already depressed and it hasn't even happened yet. Prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
The Russians are coming and it's going to be amazing and also heartbreaking.
Let's see. Then we had the pairs, and Zabiako and Enbert really just showing their consistency yet again here. We've talked a lot about their programs. I don't want to get into that too much, but if they can come out with just some amazing programs next season and this kind of consistency, they will absolutely be knocking on the door of not only the national title, but the world title.
I mean, clearly they've proved that they are in the running as much as anybody else, winning the short program, second in the free, and this is not their limit.
No,
there
not
is
at all.
more. And like that triple twist, let's be honest, there is more than enough room for an extra rotation in there.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on it.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if they've got it, but just have decided it's not quite consistent enough.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they've got a quad twist.
Yeah. I mean, just that classic Russian pairs skating. And honestly, the reason they didn't win both programs was, just that, as Team France's we'll get to, James and Cypre were just so fantastic there.
It was a matter of exceptional and perfect.
Yeah.
That was the difference in that free skate.
And to be fair, a doubled sow on the side-by-side jumps, but it's World Team Trophy. Do we really care?
Again,
Not really.
We've said this about 100 times. The points don't matter at World Team Trophy.
No.
This is for fun and money.
Yeah. And then in the dance, we had Sinitsina and Katsalapov, one of the few dance teams getting a giant new season's best.
Yeah.
And winning consistently over the rest of the field other than Papadakis and Cizeron, which is, I think, a big win for them as well.
Yeah. And not something I would have expected coming into this season. I really was if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, these are not the two I would have pegged as, solidly second.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is to do with, for me, especially that rhythm dance.
Yep.
It's a really great program. They've been really consistent with it, and especially with that Tango Romantica. That just puts them a step up every time against other teams who have struggled.
That really is the number one thing. And they're going to have to watch out. Other teams are going to have to watch out next year because he's one of the few that competed the fin step at the Olympics 5 years ago who is still around.
And lest we forget, has an two Olympic medals from doing so.
From doing that fin step. So I would not be surprised to see them be, again, one of the few teams with a really strong fin step.
Yeah, they've ended their season really strongly, and I'm intrigued to see what they do next season, especially program-wise.
I just really hope that everybody takes this as a lesson, that getting your levels on the pattern can really help you get that step above your competition and put you in the running. Guys, this is what we're observing. Can we please try and get the levels next year?
I suspect it'll be easier next year, but that's just, me speculating, but a bold prediction for next year, that it's not going to be, they're not going to make it that hard to get the levels.
We still don't know exactly what is going on in ice dance.
Have still not released the official document, which is seriously annoying. But
which, if you're still waiting for our music episode, I don't know when that's going to happen because
we're
we
waiting
need
on
the document.
ISU.
So it's probably going to be at least a month at this point because the ISU is refusing to release the document. They're holding it hostage.
Yep. I imagine still deciding things. That's my guess.
After Barbara Fusser-Poli lost it at that conference, they're still trying to decide what of her demands they're going to take on.
All right. And then fourth place was Team France. In the men's event, we had Kevin Amos, who was struggling a little bit, unfortunately, with the jumps here. It's been a long season for him, especially.
The poor kid.
Yeah. Especially since this is really his first full senior season. This was not quite to the heights of, like even Europeans or world championships in the short program. But obviously we love these programs. And
he's our favorite. Let's be honest. I am starting to put together my season's best list, and I have not decided which program of his is taking the number one spot.
But it's going to be one.
One of the two of them is going to be number one. And it is killing me to try to decide because they are both fantastic. Even with the number of splats in that free skate, it was still fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. Falls take away from a program, but just gets back into it so quickly that you can forget about it more easily.
He's fine. Don't worry about him. He's great. Yeah. Everything's going to be fine. Even though he was disappointed, Team France was ridiculous enough in the kiss and cry that they didn't let him get too upset about the quality of that skate. I am mostly just excited to see what he's going to do next season. What's he going to give us next season?
Yep, exactly.
What masterpiece.
And then we also had Adam Xiaohim Fa, who was a bit of a mixed bag, had a really nice quad Lutz to open up his short program.
Cannot believe the quality on that quad Lutz.
And then popping his planned quad toe into a double. At least he got the triple toe on the end, so, salvaged it.
Smart kid.
He is still, doing half junior, half senior season. And I think for him, another round on the Junior Grand Prix will help a lot with his consistency, because really that's the biggest thing for him, is working on the consistency of the jumps and consistently performing through the entire program. Yeah,
I think the performance more than anything is where he looks more like a junior skater still. The performance isn't quite there. A lot of it is still what we like to call 6-0 arms.
Yep.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm very aware of my feet, so my arms are going to be dead out straight beside me.
Yeah, not doing much.
Yeah, not moving. Fingers are going to be locked perfectly straight. Everything's going to be one straight line out from my shoulders, like we used to do in the 6-0. But we've gotten past that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But being as young as he is, he's doing some ridiculous things.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He did have some really solid jumps
Yeah.
between these two programs. And you can tell that, they're working on a lot of quads. And it just needs to work on that consistency.
Yeah. Take the quads you've got, make them consistent, and consistently get your levels on your spins and step sequence.
Yes.
With no V's. I don't like V's.
Mm-hmm. And then in the ladies, both from Team France, Laurine Lecavalier and my Berenice Mété, they had similar skates in a lot of ways. The two of them have been neck and neck really for years now, and this competition was kind of a lot of the same.
Yeah, they were really closely ranked. They had both of them really kind of struggled through both programs.
More the free skate. The short programs were okay, but for both of them, I think honestly both of them just looked a little bit tired after a long season.
It's been a long season of battling back and forth between each other.
Mm-hmm.
Too many silly mistakes, guys. Like that level 1 that Laurine got, the 1V.
Yeah, that was
program.
A really rough spin. I was kind of impressed she hung on to it at all. So,
At one point, they weren't going to give it to her. So, the fact that she got the 1V, I mean, you got something for it.
You still got over a point, over a point and a half. So,
I can't believe they gave her a positive GOE on that. As low a positive as it was. Judges number 5 and 6, who gave it a +2.
Again, it's World Team Trophy. The points don't matter.
Were you the ones in the giraffe masks?
Maybe.
Because that's the only excuse for giving that a +2. Oh, that... Aside from that spin, though, the short programs were not too bad. Mm-hmm. They were a little rough, but the free skates were really where things started to fall apart a little bit more.
Yeah, I will say Mai had a pretty solid skate. One big fall at the end on the triple Lutz, but I think she seems to me to be reworking the jump technique a little bit. They seemed a little wild in the air, like she got them landed, but I think that just sort of cleaning those up will be a lot of the difference. Laurine struggled a little bit with the rotation on a number of the jumps in the free skate.
She's been having some real rotation issues. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we have been seeing from a lot of the ladies who are working with Coriade right now. They're struggling to get particularly the triple toes on the end of combinations around. And that's where Laurine is really struggling right now, with downgrade on the Lutz toe and an under rotation on the double axel triple toe.
Yeah, well, and they were the ones that were called as well. There were a few others that I felt looked a little under, but again, we had a downgraded triple toe with a lenient panel.
There were not a whole lot of under rotations called at this event, so the fact that you managed to get yourself a downgrade is almost impressive.
Yeah, this was a bit of a tough end to her season. Both of these skaters have been struggling a little bit. I hope that we can see them both, take a bit of a vacation, come back stronger next year, and it'll continue to be a fight, I'm sure, between them.
Yeah, they're gonna fight until one of them retires. Like, they've been so neck and neck for so long. At this point, they're gonna be basically tied for the rest of their careers.
Yeah. And then in the pairs in the dance is for me why I felt a little frustrated for Team France, because I felt overall that,
Team France deserved a medal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Team Japan, but you were last in 2 disciplines and still managed to get second overall.
Yeah, as opposed to first in 2 disciplines, won twice. Anyway,
the singles were middling, but Team France shouldn't have been as far back at the very least as they were.
Yeah.
From Russia to France, we jumped from 102 to 75.
Yeah. And especially in terms of, like, for the pairs, James and Cypre with a real comeback after Worlds, and just left me wondering, what if they had done this at Worlds?
If they had done this at Worlds, I would still be crying about whoever lost.
Yeah. it was close after the short program that they've struggled with a little bit more, but the free skate is just such an amazing program and skated so well.
It was perfect.
With no time violation even.
They were even a little early.
They finally figured it out.
I really hope that they go back to Guillaume Cizeron and Charlie White for their choreography again this season.
I mean, it's worked for them so well that it would kind of be silly not to.
Yeah, you've got to, please.
Yeah. I was just really glad to see them with a good skate to end the season after the disappointment of Worlds and a deserved monstrous score in the free skate.
This is one monster score that I can get behind.
Yep. And then in the dance, we had Papadakis and Cizeron. Although, ironically, I really felt in the rhythm dance that Guillaume especially was really shaky. He almost...
Yeah.
On the twizzles, I was thinking, don't collide into each other. Don't fall over.
The entire time I was thinking, Guillaume, this doesn't matter that much, but this is not the time to fall apart.
I don't know for certain what the training has been like for all of these teams, but I do recall hearing as Hubble and Donahue came off the ice from the free dance saying something like,
three run-throughs in 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder if Papadakis and Cizeron have had similar preparation time.
Again, World Team Trophy doesn't matter. You still got to train for it.
Yeah. The free dance was much more solid, but the rhythm dance, I had a few moments of going, oh, don't fall over here.
Do not lose for the first time this season at World Team Trophy.
Yeah, and it's been usually he is just so solid in terms of the technique that it threw me a little thinking, oh, are you okay?
What's wrong?
What's going on here?
Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
It was fine. Everything was fine.
Yeah, not their best rhythm dance of the season for sure. But again, it's the World Team Trophy. Fine. Points don't matter. They did their job here.
As we talk about them, I'm going to mention, if you were the person that sent us an email about them, we are going to talk about it on air. If you don't want us to do that, send us an email and we won't. But we are planning to talk about it on air at some point soon to have a more lengthy discussion about the subject of your email.
Ice dance is complicated.
Yeah.
People's opinions of Papadakis and Cizeron are also complicated.
Our opinions of Papadakis and Cizeron are kind of complicated.
Yeah. It's a much longer discussion than we can have here.
Yeah, there is too much to talk about, but I promise we will get to it. I'm not ignoring you.
Yes. And then fifth was Team Canada, who had a bit of an up and down competition.
Oh, Team Canada.
If we start with the men were not bad, and honestly a bit of a redemption for them, I think, after Worlds. Both of them, Nam Nguyen and Keegan Messing, had better competitions here than they did at Worlds, which is a good thing.
Yeah, Keegan, I don't know what happened. At the beginning of the season, his jump technique was looking better, and now it's looking worse again. What are you doing?
I think for me that it's nerves.
Yeah.
Because for me, he looked really nervous in the short program. And then in the free skate, he seemed a bit more relaxed, and the jump seemed to go better. I could be wrong, but that's been my impression, that he does kind of let the nerves get to him a little bit.
Whatever is going on, Keegan, you need to get it under control. Because when he has the nerves under control and the feet are under him, the jumps are ridiculous. They're really good. And he does what he did in that short program. And none of the jumps were good.
Yeah, maybe a bit of sort of, trying not to repeat what happened at Worlds and thinking about combinations, which, good. You should be thinking about getting your combinations.
Remember your combinations, particularly after that quad toe went awry again. Yeah. But, the axle's the one where we should just be thinking about the axle. Mm-hmm. And then, if you want to start thinking during your second to last spin about the Lutz combination, go ahead. But, I don't know what's going on with him. He needs to settle down.
I think it is, just his sort of calming himself.
He seems to either completely let his brain escape from his head or be completely tuned into nothing but what's going on in his head. Yeah,
because the free skate was a really great performance, and you could see that there were a few moments where I could see him thinking about when he popped the second quad toe into a triple, and doing the triple after, and then the next jumping past did triple sow, and okay, and now just a double toe. So we're not, Zyaking. You could see him thinking through, and he seemed to be sort of more in control of the situation.
Yes. We have learned from Worlds, clearly. Hopefully this continues into next season and he is able to keep his feet under him and also his brain in his head without only thinking about what he's thinking about and not what his feet are doing.
And Nam as well had a pretty good competition overall. Just, a pop in the free skate. But it is interesting to me that I'm obviously going for a quad toe to start. It didn't work out, but, trying to put that in, I think is a good thing, especially, to try here where it didn't really matter too much. And
he probably wouldn't have been much higher than like 6th anyway.
Yeah. Well, and he came back from it really well. He didn't let it bother him too much.
Yeah, Nam is a skater who has grown up a lot in the last season.
Yeah, and I think as well as his confidence has grown a lot too. He just seems more comfortable competing.
There are still flaws, do not get us wrong, but we are making progress.
Yeah.
The things that have felt a little bit like those of us on the internet who have been watching him since he was 15 have been going, will you please work on the spins and the basic skating? Progress is happening.
Yeah.
And it's going to be slow and it's going to take a long time, but we're making progress. We're getting 3 Vs instead of 2 Vs.
Yep. Yeah, it's, stuff to work on for sure, but I think for him a good end to his season.
This was a good skate.
Yeah.
We didn't need perfect, we just needed good.
Yep. And then in the ladies, it was a bit more of a mixed bag.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not looking forward to talking about the ladies. This was kind of a disaster.
It's a tough one. If we start with Gabby, obviously we know she's had a cutoff season and started off really well in the short program. She seemed to be having trouble this entire competition with the Lutzes, and obviously that turned into a pop. Honestly, if it had just been that in the short program, I would have...
Yeah, everything would have been fine.
Whatever, it's fine. I think she was really thrown by the warm-up collision for the free skate, though.
I don't know if you saw the bruises.
I did see. There was pictures from her mother online. Yeah. There are some serious bruises she got from that warm-up collision, and you could see it in the free skate.
I wouldn't be surprised if on top of the warm-up collision, some of that was also from the falls in this free skate.
Yeah.
Because she took some real wipeouts.
Yeah.
And the thing about Gabby right now is the first half of the free skate seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah.
It's not amazing, but it's going pretty well. The opening Lutz wasn't great, but everything else was fine until we got to the second half. And she just doesn't seem to have the competition stamina right now.
Yeah.
To get, especially she's got 3 combinations in the second half.
Well, partly that was because she didn't get the combination on the triple Lutz to open.
But even so, knowing what she knows going into this, which is, I've taken a lot of time off, I haven't been training this whole time, it probably would have been a better idea to put all of the combinations in the first half.
Yeah, or at the very least, 2.
2 out of the 3.
Or even, I was kind of waiting for and hoping for, since she didn't get the triple toe on the triple Lutz, to just throw a triple toe in there.
Yep.
You may as well get your confidence
It's your money jump.
Exactly. Well, and she's usually very confident with it. I wonder if that might have turned things around, and also it can be a big point getter, and then you don't have to worry about where am I putting, my triple toe.
I mean, in terms of the points, if you look at what she got in the short program for it, she got almost exclusively +4s and 5s on that.
Over 10 points in total for that combination.
That is her money jump. There's a reason she continues to do that in the short program.
And that is something where just in terms of the strategy, for the second half of this season, that it did surprise me that she didn't just go for triple toe. I know that it means you have to do combinations with some doubles, but I don't know that would be the worst thing at this point.
Yeah, for her this season, that probably would have made more sense. I imagine that practice was going quite well, and so they figured, oh, well, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But particularly with the mental health stuff that she's going through, it can be helpful to do the things that you're super confident in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know that she is super confident in that triple toe.
Mm-hmm.
So if it were me deciding, that's probably the route that I would have gone.
Yeah.
She seemed okay when she got off the ice.
Yeah, she didn't seem to be as upset as, like, say, Canadian nationals. And, just hopefully, it's the off season now, can take more of a break and
take
rebuild.
care of herself.
Yep.
And slowly work her way back up to what she's capable of. She'll get there. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. And then Elaine, this has been a really tough couple of seasons, honestly, for Elaine. And she looked a little bit beaten down this competition.
She's looked a little beaten down all season except for that one skate at Nationals.
Yeah. It's hard to see, but you can tell that she seems cautious going into the jumps, which leads to rotation issues and falls. And one jump issue seems to spiral into another and another.
Yeah, she is. I don't know what's going on with her. She has been at times so confident.
Yeah.
And like rotation was always a bit of an issue, but when she was confident, she was staying on her feet and she was hiding them pretty well.
Yeah.
And
I think, to me, just you could see on a lot of her jump entrances, like, she's cautious going in, and you need that power to get the spring up into the jumps. If you don't have that, it's just not going to work, and that'll impact your confidence going into the next one.
And for example, with the triplets double toe at the beginning of the free skate, that was a confidence issue as much as anything. She just opened up at a rotation and a half.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are you doing? It was fine. You were probably going to be under on the triple, but it was going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what... She has so much potential, and she always has. But this is so frustrating to watch.
Yeah. She's another one that I think just needs a bit of a vacation.
Yeah.
And come back next year and, I don't know, try and...
approach the season differently.
Yeah. I was about to say, even if she decides that that's it, to think about, okay, what are my goals here and how am I approaching competition, especially?
Yeah. Elaine is one that I really hope has a good sports psychologist that she's talking to, because the physical ability has always been there.
Yeah.
It's not the physical ability that's the problem. It's whatever's going on in her brain.
Yeah.
Which is a big problem, but it can be fixed. It's not something that you just need to try and force your body to change.
Yeah. Moving on, though, to pairs.
Yes.
Kirsten and Michael had a pretty good competition overall. Again, not perfect, not quite as strong as, like, Four Continents, but they've been pretty consistent through this season. I wondered if they were a little nervous in the short program. There were a couple elements that were a little shaky, but they seem to have gotten it back much stronger in the free skate.
Yeah, they definitely looked a little nervous in that short program. I think part of it was knowing how capable they are. Yeah. Knowing that it was entirely possible for them to be in podium position after that short program, especially. They totally could have been third in both segments. Yeah. And sometimes that pressure is too much.
Yeah, the free skate was much stronger, though. Yeah. And one, fall on the triple toe notwithstanding, they were basically clean. And so at least that's, they've had a steady improvement throughout their career. And things are slowly but surely getting better and getting stronger. Yeah. And
particularly when it comes to things like the twist and the lifts.
Yeah.
It's a slow road to make those things better, but they are working towards getting stronger lifts, especially. Yeah. Twist is pretty good now. Yeah. I don't get super nervous when I watch them do the twist anymore. Yeah. For those of you watching Canadian Nationals like 4 years ago or whatever it was, you know why I used to be very nervous about their twist. But, they're getting there. Yeah. Work to do, but they're getting there.
Yeah. And then in the dance, Weaver and Poget had overall a pretty good competition as well. I think for them, we've mentioned before, but I think that they were a little bit behind some of the other teams here due to lack of sort of competition experience. Mm-hmm. They, even though they were, say fifth in the rhythm dance, it's not as a result of a bad skate so much of just other teams having so much skill and having some really solid skates who finished ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for them, like most teams that are struggling this season, is that they weren't getting the Tango Romantica levels. Mm-hmm. The thing about, because it sounds like they were doing this on the Thank You Canada tour. Yeah. Which is great. And for most disciplines, in pairs or in singles, it would be basically all you need. Yeah. But in dance, you need that technical panel going, no, that edge was wrong.
Nope.
You didn't do that right.
Nah. Key point number 1 on the second side, just nope. And be able to talk to them and say, but what am I doing wrong though?
Yes. And that is really what they were missing this season. And honestly, I'm glad that they're not doing the next tour for next year because it did really hurt them.
Yeah. And I think obviously the next World Championships will be in Canada. I'm sure they're thinking about that. And I think they do need that in competition practice to really be confident by the end of the season.
Because the free dance went a bit better. Mm-hmm. The free dance, they were a little bit stronger because it is easier to know what you're doing right or wrong in the step sequences that you choreographed yourself. Yeah. As opposed to trying to get the Tango Romantica right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they were a little disappointed maybe by the standings more so than the scores. But again, the standings are just because there are so many strong teams competing here. Not so much that they,
did anything particularly wrong aside from that Tango Romantica. Yeah. Which, particularly in the rhythm dance, they were farther back than they would have liked, I am sure, because they were 5th in that rhythm dance. Yeah. Well, guess what? Guignard and Fabry, who beat you, had a level 4 and a level 3. Mm-hmm. You can't expect to beat that with a level 2 and a level 3. Yeah. You can't. Sorry.
Well, and that's almost exactly what the differential was. It's just slightly more than that half a point in base value difference.
Which came almost entirely from them getting about the same GOE. Mm-hmm. GOE is a little higher on an element that's worth more. Yep. So, that's what happens when you don't learn the Tango Romantica. But those two have done the fin step.
Well, and they've done the Tango Romantica as well, but it's been a while. And it's a tough one.
Yes. Yeah. And it hasn't been nearly as long on the fin step. Yes. So it should be fine. It better be fine.
And then if we go down to Team Italy, pretty close to, the Team France, Team Canada. They were all sort of in there
about 70 points.
Yeah. And I think their main issue was just a lack of depth in the singles disciplines.
They've got one good lady and one good man doing their thing and getting the points. But
and in pairs and dance doing pretty well. Yeah. And then they had another, lady and man who not so much struggled, but were, lower down.
We're near the bottom. Yeah. Which is fine. Somebody's got to be at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Even if everybody does 70 quads, somebody's going to be at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And if we just took one man, one lady, a pair team, and a dance team,
then Italy would be real competitive.
Team Italy would have been up at about 100 points with everybody else. And Team Japan would not be at 100 points with the others.
It would be all different points.
It would be completely different. Yeah. But it's kind of unfortunate for Team Italy, being that they did have really strong skates across all 4 disciplines.
Yeah. Well, and especially if we start with the men from Matteo Rizzo, who had so close to a clean competition here. Just that last popped Lutz in the free skate. Yeah. It's a shame, but at the same time, he has had an amazing season and really shown that he can be competitive with the top people in the world.
And I mean, if we look at what he's done the last 2 seasons, he has been incredibly consistent. Yep. Delivering basically clean performances almost every time.
Yeah. Yeah, this this and Worlds were both really fantastic competitions for him. And, being 5th in the free skate in this field of men is no small feat.
Yeah.
That's a real accomplishment for him, especially with only one quad.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what the other guys are doing, knowing that Shoma did what he did in the second half of the free skate.
Yeah.
And that Nathan and Vincent were both, big quadsters.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there was only one person between you and them.
Yep.
Between you and those 3 guys in the free skate, that's a big deal for somebody with one quad, fresh, full senior.
Yep.
From Italy, of all places.
Yeah.
Not where we expect.
Well, I mean, at the same time, Italy is really, working on all their disciplines. Yeah. I think they are, a country who does have good sort of rounded growth in all disciplines. And for Daniel Grassel, he finished in sort of the lower ranks here, but he didn't have, bad skates by any means. I do still wonder about his decision to put in the quad Lutz. It hasn't really gone so well all season, but the rest of his skates were really pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at what he didn't do super well, it was the combinations in the second half and that quad Lutz.
Yeah.
That was basically it. And
a quad loop, which really has been pretty solid all season long.
The one in the short wasn't great, but the one in the free skate was pretty good.
Yeah. I think that he has tons and tons of potential, and obviously is working apparently on all of the different quads, which I think is good, to
try them all.
Yeah, to try them all, whether or not you put them into competition. Yeah. He still needs, some finessing on especially the quality of landings of his jumps. But he's still very young, and this was not a bad competition for him at all here.
This was actually a really good set of skates from him. And yeah, the biggest thing that puts him and Adam Xiao Fa near the bottom is that you can still see the junior skating when you look at them. And that's a thing that's only going to come with time and practice. It's going to take lots of time on the ice, lots of time off the ice in the ballet studio to develop the quality of movement that some of the older guys have.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's working on it.
Yeah.
And he's working on lots of things, which is why I think that he's got a lot of potential, and his placement, isn't really reflective of whether or not, he has any potential in the future.
Yeah.
It's more a reflection of the strength of skating in this competition, because it was pretty strong.
Yeah, overall the men were quite strong at World Team Trophy this year, which is not always the case. And he did pretty well for himself.
Yeah. And in the ladies, actually, I was really impressed by Marina Pireda.
Yes.
Who had a big new season's best score from here, and really deserved. Really, she made one mistake in the entire competition.
Yeah.
Just one pop in the free skate. And other than that, she just looked really pretty solid. She's another one to me who I think, she's obviously young, just coming up from juniors, and you can tell that a little bit in especially, some of her performance and things. But she has really great pop on her jumps.
Yeah.
Which
the technique is textbook on a lot of her jumps.
And she just seems, I don't know, she seemed unfazed here. And even she didn't make the free skate at Worlds, but in the short program, she just looked calm, which I think is that's a good place to be at.
Particularly knowing what we know about a lot of lady skaters right now, seeing one who can just shrug off a pop to Lutz at the beginning of the free skate and skate perfectly afterwards.
Well, and what really impressed me was she put in the triple Lutz as the last jumping pass too. And it was a really solid triple Lutz right at the end. And
it was like, okay, so that was actually a fluke at the beginning of this program. She's a really interesting skater. And like the junior guys who were competing here, she does still need a lot of work on the performance side, but again, it
comes with time and experience.
It's an immaturity thing in like the most neutral sense of that word. Immaturity is a thing that we all have to go through. Every single one of us has been immature. And it takes time to get past that and to...
Well, and just competition experience, honestly. Because really, she had senior worlds and this is really the extent of her senior competition experience. So,
and she only got to do one program at Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. And that was more just that there were a lot of strong skates there. Because I believe she was basically clean.
Yeah, she was pretty close to the cutoff, too.
Yeah.
She just got unlucky coming in a year where there was a ridiculous number of really good skates at Worlds this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she definitely held her own here. Yeah. And I'm curious to see what she can do next season.
Yeah, she's one that looks ready to be on the senior team.
Yeah. And we also had Roberta Rodriguero, who struggled a little bit here.
Yeah.
She's been coming off of injury, and you can tell a little bit the rotation on a lot of the jumps was a bit of a struggle. She kept fighting through, which was good to see. It was not an easy skate, but she didn't let the elements get away from her too much.
Yeah, she was one who really recovered well from a not so great short program to do a pretty solid free skate. Mm-hmm. It wasn't amazing, and she wasn't doing the triples.
Yeah.
But all of her triples that she did in the free skate were pretty good. Mm-hmm. Not amazing, but we don't need amazing all the time.
Well, and especially when you're working your way back from injury, just to go relatively clean is a good starting point to build up your confidence back.
And I mean, we call this technically clean in the free skate. Yeah.
She had one unclear edge on the triple Lutz to open. And
a couple of barely negative GOEs, which that's clean.
It's yeah, exactly. It's close enough.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And then we also had in the pairs, Della Monica and Guarize having a pretty solid competition here as well.
A really good short program for them.
Yeah. The side-by-side jumps have been a little bit of an issue this season, but the free skate as well, just they looked really, really solidly confident last season, and they started out a little shaky at the start of this season and have been building that back up. Really, they just had 2 side-by-side jumping errors across the 2 programs, and otherwise we're looking really strong.
I mean, everything in that free skate was really good except for the double toe, single toe.
Yeah.
Which, it happens. Mm-hmm. Also, apparently a judge thought that they had a costume or prop violation. I don't know. That's just the only one that I've seen in all of the protocols this weekend.
Yeah. Maybe too much...
hip.
I was about to say in her costume or even the sort of nude fabric that he's got. Sometimes there's never any explanation for these, so you never know what people are thinking.
And it depends entirely on how the judge is feeling on whatever day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can go out in an entirely nude dress and nobody says anything, and then you show up the next week and everybody's like, costume violation. Yeah. No, I'm in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's just something I noticed. Like, oh, somebody actually thought there was a costume violation. I thought this was World Team Trophy and we don't care.
Somebody does, I guess. But yeah, it was a good ender for their season as well, I think. Especially he has apparently been a little bit injured after the collision at Worlds. And if you didn't know that, you wouldn't really be able to tell. They skated very well here.
They skated really well. I mean, notwithstanding that weird double toe, single toe. It happens in pairs. It's pairs.
Yeah. A popped side-by-side jump in pairs is whatever.
Is barely worth a mention.
Yeah. And then in dance, we had Guinar and Fabri, who they as well have just really been so solid all season long. And they're another team who's been really solid in the Tango Romantica, which has helped them a lot.
Because we know Barbara Fusser-Poli likes to fight about what the difference is between a cross roll and a cross step. Uh-huh. And that's the kind of thing that gets you level 3s and level 4s on your Tango Romantica.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with their strength and consistency this season. And it's really done them well. They, even beat Weaver and Poget in the rhythm dance.
Yep.
And
deserved to.
And even though they were 5th in the free dance, again, it's not so much that they had a bad skate. It was just other people had such strong skates.
Yeah. I mean, the difference between them and Weaver and Poget in the free dance was not that substantial. And
Yeah,
it
less
really,
than 2 points.
It really just came down to a couple of levels here and there and the GOE.
Yeah. Yeah. They are a team who's really, really slowly built their way up. And I hope they just continue slowly but surely making their way up there.
Barbara Fusar-Poli is not going to let them stagnate, Mary. Barbara Fusar-Poli is on the warpath with these two. She was living for every good skate that Team Italy had.
Of course.
At one point, I forget who was getting off the ice, but it was somebody from Team Italy, and I saw somebody standing up, the only one in the Team Italy box standing, losing their mind. And I went, is that Barbara Fusar-Poli? And it was.
It is fun when you see the coaches hanging around. There were a few I noticed where...
More coaches need to hang out in the boxes at World Team Trophy, because you get to be obnoxious too.
Yeah, I wish some of them were more obnoxious.
Yes.
I saw Romain Hagenauer in the Team France box just sort of sitting there. I was like, get into it,
in
though.
his suit, too. I was like, Gabby, go give him your pom-poms or something. Like, give him something and force him to be energetic if he's going to sit in your box.
Yep. All right. So that, I think, we've talked about everybody now from World Team Trophy. I'm pretty sure. If we missed anyone, we're sorry.
Yes, we covered everybody. Some more than others, but that's okay. We talked about everybody.
Yep. Overall, it was an enjoyable competition, and some pretty solid skates for the most part. And
considering how late in the season it is and how tired all of these skaters are, they all skated pretty well.
Yeah, they all hit it well. They all seem to have fun out there.
You all deserve a nap.
Yep. I still haven't seen the gala yet, but I think that'll be a fun one.
The World Team Trophy Gala is always fun because it's always absurd.
And apparently Sui and Han were there.
Oh, they were there.
I am excited to see. I was disappointed that Team China didn't qualify. But again, that's why you do like Olympic team event style. 10 countries.
10.
Maybe even 12.
Honestly,
like I said, just don't do substitutions. Top 12 countries.
No substitutions. You can even cut some of them after the short program.
Sure, yeah. I cut half.
Do 12, cut half.
Yeah. Please.
Can
we plan? We don't need another Team Challenge Cup. That's what we need for next year. Like maybe Skate Canada or USFS or I don't know, Russia. Like somebody host it.
Team Canada will do it because Team Canada is not going to be happy that we didn't medal here and we were almost last.
Well, maybe the US. They did the Team Challenge Cup thing that one time.
Don't do the Team Challenge Cup again, though. That was terrible.
We don't want that. We want an Olympic-style team event.
Yes.
With the top, 12 countries.
12 countries. You can cut half of them after the short programs.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. High risk planet.
I mean, basically, like I said, just exact same way as the Olympics, just no substitutions. A, because it makes it kind of more fair for the small countries, and B, because then you don't have to host extra skaters.
Yeah.
That's
there
it.
you go.
It's easy. Maybe no tech minimums so that, a lower ranked like pair team from one of the small countries
so
can
that
go.
If Spain is country number 12, they can actually go.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Please, next year.
Please, more team events. Make this like gymnastics where we can care just as much about the team event as the individual events.
That would be the ideal for me, and which is why I think it needs to be...
It needs help.
At least very similar to the Olympic event, if not exactly the same.
It's less work if you just make it the exact same.
Yeah.
With like 2 minor modifications.
Yep, exactly.
There you go. Easy.
And that is the end of the season, crazy as it feels.
I'm sad. Except I also need a nap.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, there will be no major competitions for a while. We do have stuff planned for the off season, but probably take a little bit of a breather.
Until that ISU document comes out.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back probably a week or 2 after the ISU document comes out, whenever they deem reasonable to release it.
Yeah.
And then
talk about ice dance and seasons, best lists, and
we'll hopefully have some guests over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And
we'll see, hopefully going to Stars on Ice in Toronto.
And if you have ideas for other stuff you want us to talk about, somebody already sent in a request. I have no idea if we're going to get to that. That's a lot to watch.
Oh, the Russian
TV show.
I mean, maybe the trouble is we don't speak Russian.
Yeah, I was trying to watch an episode with subtitles on and it made no sense and I had no idea what was going on. But I do enjoy listening to Tarasova yell at people, which...
Yeah. I assume it's more fun if you don't know what she's saying, but I do enjoy sometimes on the commentary. Like, I have no idea what you're saying, but it sounds fun.
I had to watch some of World Team Trophy on a Russian stream because all of the streams were broken except for the Russian ones, and so I just listened to her yell about stuff. It's fun if you don't understand what's going on.
Better than when you can understand, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. So we might talk about some of that stuff, particularly if it can be a one-off episode that's not gonna...
Yes, that's the ideal. This is our break time, because trust me, come August, we go insane.
We go completely insane, and knowing that we're going to be at Worlds for a week and all of the other things that we have planned for the off-season, we're going to be very busy. Yep. So we like to do things in the off-season that you can listen to that don't take us like 2 weeks to prep.
Exactly.
So if you have an idea for something like that, let us know.
Yep.
And we will probably do it. We might also be on a particular YouTube channel.
Well, we'll see.
In the off-season.
Figuring out stuff.
There are lots of things.
Yeah, there will be things.
There will be things. Point of that is we are not going away.
No.
You are not going to escape us this summer. So keep your eyes peeled, particularly on our Twitter.
Yep.
And also make sure that you're subscribed on whatever podcatcher you use.
Yep, exactly.
Because they will not be regular uploads. You might get three consecutive weeks, and then it'll be like a month, and then you'll get another one. That's what happened last year.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to plan for the off season. Yeah. The on season is easier because the thing happens and we talk about it. But
the skating schedule tells you when the episodes are coming.
Yeah. Also, naps are nice.
Naps are really nice. I'm really looking forward to sleeping.
Yep. All right, so we should wrap this one up. It has been, I think, our longest episode in a long time.
Yep, this is because normally we would have done 4 of these.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so thank you all for listening, and please let us know your thoughts about This Week in Figure Skating at flutzescast@gmail.com. You can also follow us at Flutzescast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for even more skating content.
Check out our merch store on redbubble.com. Search for Flutzescast. That's the other thing that's coming in the off-season, new merch. And if you like what we do, consider leaving us a review wherever you're listening. We'll be back at some point with more fun stuff, but until then, keep a watchful eye out for those Flutzes and Waxels skating fans.